Welcome to the deep dive, where we cut through the noise and get straight to the knowledge you need. And wow, if you're like me, your head is probably still spinning from week 1 of the NFL season.
Oh, absolutely.
We saw it all, didn't we? Those, electrifying highs, some real gut-punching lows, and just enough twists to keep every fan totally on the edge of their seat. It really set the stage for the year.
It really did. It felt like a whole season crammed into just a few days. Perceptions shifted like almost instantly.
Right.
You saw teams expected to dominate actually do it, while others kind of stumbled in ways you maybe didn't expect. That immediate feedback. Well, that's exactly why we're doing this deep dive today.
That's exactly. So our mission today is to really unpack what stood out from week 1, specifically on the defensive side of things.
Yeah.
We want to go beyond just the wins and losses, Try to understand the defensive performances underneath and what they might signal for the rest of the season. Think of this as your personal shortcut, understanding who impressed, who struggled, and maybe most importantly, why.
And to give you that shortcut, we've pulled together, well, a pretty robust stack of sources. We're leaning on a really comprehensive analysis from PFSN, some great in-depth team breakdowns from The Ringer, Chiefs.com, Blitz Sports Media, plus some crucial insights from ESPN Analytics.
Okay, good stuff. And when we talk rankings, we're really leaning on PFSN's defense impact metric, right? D5.
That's the one, yeah, DE5. It's a smart system, I think. It blends the traditional stats you expect: yards per play, points per drive, sack percentage, turnover, success rates.
The usual suspects.
Exactly. But it also layers in other factors like last season's roster strength, player carryover, inherent player value, and crucially, it's reactive to what just happened in week 1.
So it's not just raw numbers, it's context and sort of potential baked in.
Precisely. And what's fascinating about that approach is how quickly you can either validate what we thought preseason or, highlight something totally new.
Lets you peek behind the scoreline.
Right. Really grasp the defensive foundation.
All right, let's dive in then. Week 1's defensive standouts, some early surprises, starting with the teams that just absolutely lived up to their top-tier hype, like the Denver Broncos. Came in ranked first.
Then stayed first. No movement at all. Yeah, the Broncos lived up to every bit of that preseason billing. They just dominated what PFSN called an undermatched offensive unit, like all 4 quarters.
And the stats back that up.
Oh, completely. Look at this. First in defensive pass success rate, first in defensive EPA allowed per dropback.
And EPA, expected points added, that's key, measures the value on each play.
Exactly. The Broncos basically gave up very little value through the air. And on top of that, a league best 17.6% sack rate on a really impressive 44.0% pressure rate.
Whoa!
I mean, that's a recipe to win football games, period.
And it feels like more than just a week 1 win, right? It's like their blueprint for the whole season.
It has to be. You establish that kind of dominance early.
Okay, staying in that top tier, the Los Angeles Chargers. They also proved their rank wasn't a fluke. Number 4 preseason, still number 4. After that, business trip to Brazil, as the sources called it.
Hey, yeah, business trip. They certainly took care of business.
Yeah.
The Chargers didn't just win. They essentially shut down the Chiefs, in all facets.
Yeah. Against that offense.
Yep. Against KC's passing attack, they ranked in the top half of every single passing metric that feeds into that DE5 score, including a really strong 56.5% defensive pass success rate.
That's impressive.
It was a remarkably complete defensive showing, especially given who they were playing.
Okay, so beyond those steady top teams, week 1 also showed us some climbers, teams making moves, like Minnesota Vikings. They jumped from 3rd to 2nd, showed some real resilience against Chicago, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, indeed. They gave up, seemingly one bad possession early.
Right.
And then just like the report said, put the proverbial clamps down on the Bears. They ended up 9th in points allowed per drive, 12th in defensive EPA allowed per drop back. Look, in a division packed with powerhouse offenses, that kind of defensive solidity, it's not just a bonus. It's clearly their path forward if they want to genuinely compete.
Makes sense. But here's one that really jumped out at me. The Green Bay Packers. Leaping from 10th all the way to 5th. That's a huge jump.
Huge jump.
We all heard Micah Parsons got his first sack for them, but the story seems bigger than that. The defense was effective even without him fully integrated yet. That says something, right?
That's the critical point, isn't it?
Yeah.
They absolutely stifled the Lions, held them to just 3.8 yards per play.
Wow.
And what really stands out, their non-blitz pressure rate, 36.8%. For context, only the Browns and Broncos did better in 2024.
So even without blitzing heavily.
They were getting pressure. And with Parsons still kind of ramping up after skipping the offseason, this defense is signaling that, yeah, the Packers' Super Bowl hype train is moving full speed ahead.
The implication there is massive. What happens when Parsons is fully up to speed?
It could be genuinely scary for offenses. Truly.
Okay, and speaking of impressive units, let's talk Cleveland. The Browns moved up from 9th to 7th, had a really encouraging defensive day, even if the final score, well, it didn't go their way.
Right. The result masked a strong defensive effort.
What stood out to you there, especially against Cincy?
They were just stout, but particularly in that second half. They put up the league's 4th highest defensive pass success rate.
Okay.
And generated this ridiculously high pressure rate of 40.0%. Just forced Joe Burrow to think twice, constantly.
And ESPN Analytics backs this up.
Emphatically. Ranks the Browns number 2 in pass rush win rate, number 1 in run stop win rate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, despite the offense and special teams kind of letting them down.
It was encouraging on the D side.
Incredibly encouraging. The takeaway here, for you listening, is that week 1 isn't just the scoreboard. Teams like the Browns, strong pressure, but maybe poor offensive support, they might be undervalued. Keep an eye on those defensive lines. Elite stuff.
Good point. Okay, let's shift gears now. Talk about some defensive dilemmas, maybe some disappointments from week 1. The Philadelphia Eagles. Preseason number 2, slipped just a bit to 3rd, got the win, obviously huge, but defensively it wasn't exactly smooth, was it?
No, not at all. And it's a great question, how vulnerable are they really? Or was it just a blip? I kind of lean towards it being maybe more than just a blip.
Oh, why is that?
Well, despite the W, they really struggled to stop Dallas's rushing attack, especially without Jalen Carter. Remember, he got ejected before even playing a snap.
Right, that was crazy.
So they ended up posting their lowest defensive rush success rate, 42.9%, since way back in Week 13 of 2023. And they let Dallas convert an alarming 58.3% of their 3rd and 4th downs.
Oof. That's not sustainable.
No. And what's really interesting is that ripple effect from Carter's ejection. It forced guys who maybe weren't having a good day into more snaps. PFF noticed this gave them a 68.6 team defense grade, which was their 7th lowest in 2024.
So one absence really exposed things.
It seems like it. PFF highlighted the cornerback unit specifically. Quinton Mitchell, who was great last year, had a PI call, a missed tackle. Adoree Jackson allowed 103 yards on just 7 targets, plus a penalty. Jacorian Bennett gave up catches on all 3 targets and had a penalty.
Yikes.
Their combined PFF coverage grade, 37.9.
That suggests, potential issues there.
It's definitely an area to watch. One key absence can really expose weaknesses.
Okay, next up, a big one. The Kansas City Chiefs. Preseason 14th, now down to 19th in PFSN's rankings. Although, worth noting, on Fila, that's another predictive power ranking, has them a bit higher at 6th. Still, for a Super Bowl contender, that defensive performance, oof. I think a lot of us are trying to forget that one.
Yeah, oof is right. PFSN basically said the Chiefs ranked near the bottom of almost every important pass defense category. Allowed 0.4 EPA per pass attempt. It's bad.
Really bad.
The Ringer went even further, calling their defense worse than their offense. Said they had no answers for Justin Herbert. You saw Steve Spagnuolo, their DC, having to dial up these exotic blitzes because the zone coverage was soft. There were defenders literally running into each other, that collision between Drew Tranquil and Trent McDuffie on Herbert's first touchdown.
Yeah, I saw that. Not good.
It was just defensive dysfunction on full display.
And that game-sealing play. Herbert scrambling on 3rd and 14, that felt like a perfect summary of their struggles.
Totally. Herbert scrambles, gets the first down, ices the game, and you see Chris Jones letting Herbert break contain. Then Tranquil is apparently yelling at Jones after the play.
Yeah, you hate to see that on the sideline or in the locker room.
Now, to be fair, Chiefs.com did note a silver lining. The run defense was actually pretty good. Limited the Chargers to just 3.2 yards per carry.
Okay, something positive.
But the pass defense, undeniably the fatal flaw in that game. And the Ringer asking, are the Chiefs cooked? Look, it might sound like clickbait, but it points to a real potential panic button, especially when you hear stats like fewer than 12% of teams starting 0-2 have made the postseason since 1990. That's a sobering stat for Chiefs Kingdom.
Huge stat to think about for them.
Okay, finally, let's touch on the Chicago Bears. Preseason 13th, now kind of split 10th in PFSN, 17th in Feladu. Sounds like a real tale of two halves for their defense against Minnesota.
Yeah.
What went down there?
You nailed it. Tale of two halves, absolutely. 4 3/4. The Bears' D was genuinely impressive, like really good.
Oh, yeah.
Ranked third in defensive EPA allowed per dropback, third in sack rate at 13.0%. Guys like Dio Odengbo, Gervon Dexter Sr., Tano Kepassignan, they were making plays. Sacks, TFLs, Noshawn Wright even had a pick six.
Nice.
Their secondary showed some depth, too, even against Justin Jefferson, despite injuries. It was, for a while, a strong showing of talent and scheme working together.
Oh, yeah.
But then, they just ran out of gas, completely disappeared in the fourth quarter.
That's frustrating. Seen that movie before sometime.
Exactly. It just highlights how even if you have strong individual play or a good scheme, fatigue or maybe just a lack of sustained focus can completely undo it. So what these cases really show, it's the razor-thin margin in this league, isn't it?
Absolutely.
One ejection, one missed kick, one bad penalty. It's not just a moment, it's like a domino. It can unravel a whole defensive effort, maybe even shape a season.
You really have to watch beyond the score.
Yeah.
Look for those cracks forming, or maybe those surprising foundations being built.
All right, so we've looked at the good, the bad, the surprising. Now let's try to connect some dots. Go beyond the rankings a bit. Understand what these week one things really mean. And one critical factor, frankly maybe overlooked sometimes, that popped up in week one. Penalties.
Yeah, discipline. Or the lack of it. It's fascinating how much that impacted games right out of the gate. Take the Chiefs again, 10 penalties, 71 yards. Their offensive tackles alone had 6.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes himself said, we have to be better from the get-go.
And the Bears, even worse.
Oh, yeah. Staggering numbers. 12 penalties for 127 yards. Coach Ben Johnson just came out and said it. Indicated they were poorly coached and sloppy.
Can't argue with that many flags.
Things like pre-snap penalties. Yeah. That controversial holding call on Darnell Wright. It was just their kryptonite, as the source put it.
Yeah.
It's such a clear reminder. Undisciplined football does not win games.
Kills drives, gives free yards, nullifies good defense sometimes.
Exactly. And connecting this bigger picture, special teams also played a maybe bigger role than people noticed on the surface.
How so?
Well, the Chiefs, despite the loss, had that moment of pure brilliance, right? That run-off field goal.
Oh, yeah, that was incredible.
Just executed perfectly in like 10 seconds flat. Get Harrison Butker out there for a 59-yarder right before halftime. That's high-level coordination under pressure.
Okay, but then you contrast that with the Bears.
Right, total frustration.
Yeah.
Cairo Santos not only misses a potential game-tying field goal,
Which happens.
but he also fails to kick the kickoff out of bounds like Coach Johnson wanted him to save a timeout. And the reason given, lack of accuracy and power. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? In today's game, do you just need a kicker who can reliably bomb it out of the end zone? Especially when, in that same game, Minnesota's guy hits a 59-yard record at Soldier Field.
Yeah, the contrast is stark. Feels like an evolving need at that position.
Then there's the undeniable impact of the dual-threat QB.
Right. Jalen Hurts. Eagles' defense struggled, maybe, but he did what he does.
He won.
Yeah.
Simple as that sometimes. Earned a career-high 90.7 PFF rushing grade. Racked up 62 rushing yards, 2 rushing TDs. Crucially, 5 third-down rushing first downs.
He just finds waves.
He wins with his legs and rises to the moment. He's like a walking, scrambling cheat code sometimes.
And on the Bears side, Caleb Williams, clearly struggled with overthrows, some rookie stuff, as they called it.
Yeah, definitely some rookie moments.
But his rushing, over 40 yards, that athletic ability was a positive, wasn't it? Helped open things up a bit, even with the struggle, showed that potential.
For sure. It adds a dimension, even when the passing isn't quite there yet. And finally, let's bring it back to EPA, expected points added. It's such a key indicator for really understanding performance beyond the surface.
Okay.
The Browns, remember, high ranks in pass rush win rate, run stop win rate. Combine that with their defensive EPA performance. It clearly shows a strong foundation there, even if the offense couldn't capitalize. It measures that true defensive efficiency.
And the flip side, the Chiefs.
Their near bottom ranking in pass defense EPA allowed against Herbert. That's a massive red flag waving.
Can't ignore that.
But then, look at the Colts defense.
Huh.
Huge improvement in pass defense EPA per dropback. Went from 0.39 down to Nax's 0.09 in 2024. Why? New additions like Charvarius Ward, Cameron Bynum.
So scheme and personnel changes can make an immediate impact.
Absolutely. That's a fantastic example. It really highlights how just a few key personnel moves or a strategic shift can fundamentally change a team defensive identity almost overnight.
So for you, the listener, the big takeaway here is you gotta dig deeper, right?
Totally. Understanding these details, penalties, special teams plays, advanced stuff like EPA. It gives you such a richer picture than just looking at the scoreboard.
Lets you appreciate all the different pieces that lead to success or failure.
Exactly. All those interconnected facets of performance.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, week 1. Definitely a fascinating mess, wasn't it? Expected dominance, some surprising surges, and yeah, some truly unexpected defensive lapses. And it feels like discipline or that frustrating lack of it and just key individual plays, those played huge roles in shaping these first results.
Which brings us to a really compelling thought for you listening, and really for every team right now. How quickly can they actually adapt to what happened in week 1?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
If penalties and execution mistakes were the kryptonite for some teams, how much can you realistically fix up in just one short week before the next game?
That's tough. And for the teams that really shone the Broncos, the Chargers, they keep that elite level up? Or with some of that maybe inflated by facing a weaker opponent week 1?
Right. Sustainability versus a flash in the pan.
The immediate future of this season. It might just hinge on which teams learn the fastest from that first game, good or bad.
It's going to be absolutely fascinating to watch unfold.